Let me see, what's today? Today is April the 3rd, 2020. Man, time is really flying. I know a lot of people are hunkered down now with this coronavirus going on and stuff like that. So we have a really exciting show here for you today. But before I go there, I always want to thank our sponsors, Blackout Fight Gear at blackoutfights.com. Be sure to check them out for all they do for us in Eastern Offset Printing out of Atlantic Beach, North Carolina. If you want to become a sponsor, certainly you can always become a part of our show. We are planning to open up the floodgates for a variety of shows that we're going to be hosting here. I mean, it could be from a unique show like we have today, talking about natural products and things like that, or it could be about anything. Might even be about politics at some point, or maybe faith and religious beliefs and, a lot of different things. We're just going to open it up. Of course, Muay Thai and kickboxing will be a part of that as well. So we just always want to let you know that as we are expanding, there might be some opportunities for you to become a sponsor. We would certainly love to have you a part of the show. But right now, I'm really intrigued by our next guest here today. She's with Aloe Willow Botanical Body Care. And I was been intrigued with this for actually quite a few years because I actually have been using the products, right? And to me, they really work. I really like them. And I thought, you know what? This might just be the right time to talk with someone who might have a unique approach to some of the things that are going on right now. Not just that, but perhaps those people who are caught up in all the conventional medicines and things like that. Maybe there's another way. And matter of fact, I know there's another way because I think of my grandmom and my granddad, and I thought about when I used to go to their house and I would see all of these things in like mason jars and, and they would talk about these different remedies that helped out, without going to the doctor. So, and it was natural. And also I'm like, wow, what a great concept. What a great idea. So when I met Aliya some years back, and saw that, I just became and kind of just like enthralled with the idea that, wow, I started using some. I started using the pain liniment that she has, and we could talk about that. And then I was having a little problem sleeping, so she has a mist for that, and it made me go to sleep. It really relaxed me. So I thought it was a great opportunity to bring her on and to chat with her a little bit. I think that is a decent introduction there that I've given her. But what I'm going to do now, without any further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring her up so we can have a little chat about what she has going on these days and tell us a little bit more about her company and everything. And since I can see, as soon as I can find her here on my screen. She's there looking at me, and I'm trying to find her. I hear her, but I don't see her. She's there. Okay. Got everybody else there. I see her. She's sitting there. I don't see her sitting there. Where are you, Aliya? There she is, right there. There's Aliya. She's coming up, ladies and gentlemen. Aliya Trinity. There she is. How are you?
I'm excellent. Thank you.
Good. How
are you doing, John?
And everything. And I'm excited to have you on the show today.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for having me. This is a real fun thing.
Yeah, listen, so to get things started out here, I want you to take a moment and just explain to people a little bit about your background and exactly what it is that you do.
Okay. All right. So, actually, when I was in my early 20s is when this kind of all started. I realized that our skin was very permeable and that everything we were putting on it was like getting into our skin. So I went to a local health food store trying to find products to wash and moisturize with and just take care of my body without chemicals. And there weren't any. And I got to thinking that if our ancestors lived without chemicals, we should be able to live without chemicals. And my Native American ancestry is very important to me.
Yeah.
So I just started searching for ways to make things out of plants. And that has been a lifelong goal. So I've spent 3 decades now working with medicinal plants, edible plants, learning how to use plants. I've been in the wild teaching people how to find edible and medicinal plants and use them in the wild. But I came to Raleigh about 6 years ago to bring my plant medicine to the world. So at that time, I was only really working with my tribe and my family. And the things that I've created over the past 3 decades have come out of real necessity. I broke my back about 12 years ago. And that's when I designed the Minty relief formula. I needed something to help relieve pain. And I'm not interested in using a lot of medicines from the doctor. You know, I appreciate that doctors exist, and I have a lot of appreciation for our medical field. But if we can do things naturally, I just think that we should try at least the natural route first. So that Minty relief formula that you mentioned earlier is one that I use. One of the things that
before I'm sorry, Aliya, before I get into that, I want to just kind of ask you about this plant idea.
Yeah.
So what is it in a plant, right, that is significant? I mean, or should I say, are there different things in plants that are significant?
So every plant is different, and plants have a chemical structure. So they're actually made of chemicals, but they're natural chemicals, so they're not synthetic. Those chemicals, we know from science that they affect the body in different ways. So when I'm looking at a plant, I'm looking at the chemical structure of that plant and how it affects the body. So the chemicals vary from plant to plant. The chemicals in the plants are very harmonious with the human body. They react very well, easily. So when you're looking at a plant with really good nutrients and really good values for the body is going to accept those nutrients. For instance, vitamin C, vitamin E, vitamin A. There's a lot of plants that are full of those, and your body accepts them really easily. They're more bio-ready or bioavailable, so the body can absorb them.
Right.
In synthetic vitamins, the body cannot absorb them so easily. So the plants, when, for instance, they're making medicine, they're using a compound that they find in nature. They're learning how to synthesize it, how to reproduce it so they can patent it and sell it in medicines. But it usually all starts with the plants. So knowing which plant does what does a lot of amazing things.
Yeah, you know, so let me go back for a minute. I'm just kind of listening to your introduction, and you mentioned about your Native American background. You know, believe it or not, I also have a Native American background, and you know, in the Cherokee Indian side. And so, I mean, my great grandmother, right? I mean, literally, her hair looks like yours. I mean, she was just like you. She looked like you, you know, skin tone and everything. And she often talked about, as I said earlier, about these different remedies. So are you saying that the idea that the Native Americans had this connection with nature, that had these healing methods that somehow you brought back to modern day? Is that kind of what I'm hearing?
Exactly. So Alley Willow is a merging of our historical, natural way of living with the science of what we know of the plants. For instance, when I was working with my tribe up in the mountains, I could often go to someone's house and I would say, what plant is growing here in your yard that has never grown before? Wow. And they could say, well, it's this plant, it's everywhere. And I'm like, well, that plant helps with your liver. Are you having liver problems? And they're like, how did you know that? But nature is alive and it's aware and it sends the things to us that we need. So when we're not putting poisons on our yards and in our land, nature feels you and nature is alive. So in the Native tradition, it's a very common thing for us to consider the plants our cousins. We communicate with them different than communicating with humans, and yet still communication. They're aware and they're alive and they can communicate if you just listen to them.
Okay. All right. So when you say listen to them,
yeah,
how does one listen to a plant?
Well, they give signals. For instance, growing in your yard when they've never been there before. When your body is out of balance, nature hears and it sends what you need. So you just have to be aware of how nature communicates with you. There's a lot of things in nature that you learn when you live with nature, but our society and our culture is very cut off. We live in buildings. In order to get warm or cold, we push buttons. We don't, in order to find out what the temperature is or the weather is, you go to the television instead of just going outside and feeling. There's an innate connection to nature that happens when you live in nature. You feel things differently. So all of life is alive. The whole planet is alive. And, you know, in many cultures, they consider the plants a gift from the divine to help you. In many ancient scriptures, plants are mentioned as being really the method to restore health to the body and the mind. So overall, they really affect the body. You can tell that just from like coffee. Coffee is a plant. It's a stimulant, right? Yeah. So we have doctors and nurses that use one of our formulas called, it's the Focus and Clarity Inhaler. It has a series of plants in it that stimulates your mental activity. And so in the operating room, they will use this inhaler because it stimulates their mental activity. They're not having to use coffee. Coffee makes you go to the bathroom, which is not a good idea in the operating room. So that's one of our formulas that's become very popular because of the way it helps.
I want to just throw this in, interject this, because, you know, with the medicines and obviously we're in modern days, what about safety standards? How do we regulate safety standards and what's being produced there in your company?
Yeah, so in America, there are no safety standards for any body care. If you go pick something up off the shelf, it can have pretty much anything that the company wants to put in it.
Wow.
There's a lot of plants that are dangerous. So we see tea tree is being used in a lot of natural ingredients, in a lot of natural products. And tea tree is one of those plants we don't use at all. We make 150 products. Tea tree is not included in any of them because it is so dangerous. It can cause damage to your eyes.
Right.
It can cause damage to your reproductive system. It can cause skin damage. So we don't use it. We use plants that are really safe. We follow European safety guidelines because those are the highest in the world. Aliya Willow's safety guidelines are actually higher than the European safety guidelines. I'm kind of a stickler about safety. Yeah. Our whole purpose for existing is to help people, not to cause problems.
Sure.
So we use over 200 plants from around the world. And unfortunately, in our day and age, more and more people are building up sensitivities and allergies. So we have our plant list on our website, so you can review all the plants and send us a message of which plant you need to avoid.
Because, you know, just in case I was going out there and I saw this beautiful green plant and rubbed it all over me and found out it was poison ivy, that might not be a good idea, right?
Well, yeah, so even tomatoes, you know, tomato is part of the nightshade family. And where tomato itself is edible, the plant is poisonous.
Yes, because I've known many times. I mean, a matter of fact, it seems like I remember that's an interesting thing that you bring up, that my sister was eating a bunch of tomatoes and the seeds were like dropping on her. And they did something to her skin. If I remember correctly, I could be wrong about that, but it seemed like, I know that they would make you itch quite a bit. You know, but I didn't know they were poisonous. So I've learned something already. All right, really quick, I just want to say you're watching Johnny Davis live here. And we're speaking today with Miss Aliya. What is Aliya? Trinity. Right, out of Raleigh, North Carolina, with Aliya Botanical Products, guys. Hope you'll join us. If you have any comments or questions, I would love to see the comments over there in your home. You never know. You might see it right here. We might ask her for you. All right, so the other question would be about a big thing that's going on right now, Aliya. Is sanitizers. Everybody's trying to find hand sanitizer and they can't find it. Is there such a thing as a natural hand sanitizer? If you
there are. Yeah, so we specialize in working with people who are highly sensitive, and a lot of them are allergic to alcohol and things that are being suggested and recommended through all sorts of government guidelines, but not everybody can use those, and not everybody wants to, because we don't know how long this situation is going to be going on, and continuing to put alcohol on the hands and the body and the skin over time is really going to cause a lot of damage.
Right.
So we do have natural hand sanitizers. They are made of plants that naturally fight bacteria and viruses. They're very powerful. I actually have one. Do you mind if I grab it?
No, go right ahead.
It's right here. So this is our Warrior formula, and it's in a spritzer. Now, we didn't make it as a hand sanitizer. It just so happens that it functions as a hand sanitizer.
Wow.
So we make our products a little bit differently. We make them so they can be used for a lot of things. This is one of our anti-aging formulas, so it's really good for your skin. You basically just spray it on, and you've got a hand sanitizing effect with this, but there's no alcohol. We use other plants to help kill the bacteria and the germs, so that you don't have to worry about getting sick. And so this is
that actually, whatever that agent is that's in that actually kills germs.
Yes, it does. These plants
how do you know that? How do you know? Did you put your hand under some type of microscope or something?
Well, we know the science behind the plants.
Okay.
So there's so much science behind the plants now. In the past 30 years, the science has increased regarding plants and what's in them and how they work and how they function. And because we can see the chemical structure, we know exactly what these plants are capable of. One of the plants that's in this formula, this is our Warrior formula, as well as our Sage Row. So those are both antibacterial, antiviral formulas, is clove. And clove has this incredible ability to fight germs. So it makes it a very safe hand sanitizer. But Johnny, check this out. So not only can you sanitize with it, but you can also breathe it. It's good for you.
Wow. Well, when you say good for you, that's general. And good for you, how?
So when these plants get onto your skin, they actually do good things for your body. This is an anti-aging formula. So I had a man come in one time and he goes, I bought this a month ago. And I'm like, okay. And he goes, people keep telling me my skin looks good. I'm like, well, it's anti-aging. And he goes, no, I bought it because I wanted the clarity. It's supposed to increase your clarity and your focus. And I said, well, it does that too.
Right.
But he goes, I've been so confused because 3 people have come up to me this month and told me my skin looks good, but I'm over 60 and nobody in my life has ever told me anything about my skin. Wow. And I didn't know what was causing it.
Yeah, that's a great story. So why don't you call soap? Or something like that?
Right. So our soap does not contain lye. It does not contain sulfates. It doesn't contain the things that you're used to soap having in it. We make our soap out of pure plants. And because that, we're not really supposed to call it soap. So we call it a cleanser.
Right.
And our cleansers come in bar forms. They come in a foaming form. And basically every single ingredient comes from a plant. So when you use it, again,
there's no alcohol needed. So you don't necessarily need alcohol to kill germs.
Well, we have 4 formulas that are antibacterial, antiviral. So those formulas do not have alcohol in them, and yet they are killing the germs. So it's just different series of plants that do that. And each of those formulas do different things. So our Lemon Laughs formula is one of those formulas that helps reduce skin discolorations, but it also has the plants that kill the bacteria and the viruses.
Well, I'm kind of curious right now. Obviously, we have a huge virus now that's affecting a lot of people. It's actually killing people as well. A lot of people are afraid right now. So, obviously we don't want to make any specific claims, I don't think. No. I am curious about whether or not you have something that would kind of help out with this coronavirus, perhaps. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so we don't have any history with working with coronavirus. I don't know how it is with you, but here in Raleigh, the cases are kind of sporadic and just kind of started happening in the past week or so. So we do have formulas that fight colds and flus. And in the past, our formulas, this one specific formula is called Fortify, and it's had about a 50% success rate at helping reduce the symptoms of colds and flus. dramatically reduce it. So some people say that 10 minutes after using it, they don't feel sick anymore. And 50% of the time it doesn't do anything because it can't work against every cold and flu virus or virus and flu. So it's very helpful sometimes.
Is it like a spray? I mean, is it like a spray? I mean, I have it up on the screen right now.
Yeah, so this is, okay. So this is called Fortify, and it's actually a serum. So it comes in drops. This is what we've always used. In your picture that you've got there is the little instruction flyer that comes with it. So it tells you how to mix it depending upon what you're using it for. So this one has a lot of uses. So we use this in a spray bottle to disinfect surfaces similar to like Lysol. You're probably know what that's used for.
Yeah.
So we would use it similar to that. We can use it to help repel a tick and things like that. It does a lot of things. But this year, because of the situation with the coronavirus, we developed something different.
Okay.
It contains Fortify in it. So we still expect to have at least a 50-50 rate of success at killing flus or at reducing the symptoms of flus and viruses.
Wow.
But the new product is called Paradigm. And we made it stronger. So we're hoping for a higher success rate at naturally helping reduce the symptoms of colds and flu.
Wow. Wow. That's pretty promising. And, and I'm thinking that, you know what, why not try something else? Right now, they can't figure it out right now. They're still trying to create something. So why not go into nature? Since this is a natural kind of virus, perhaps the answer might be in nature. Huh?
Well, that's kind of what we thought. We don't know if, it's going to help, but we figured we'd need to do the most we can do to help. And looking into the plants and how they work, we look at it differently than I look at it differently than the way most scientists and doctors and researchers around the world look at it. So I just thought, if I take my knowledge and the way I look at plants and the wisdom I have based on my ancestors and figure out what in nature could potentially help us in this crisis. And that's how I created Paradigm. So leaning on the wisdom of my ancestors as well as the science that we know behind the plants and really just focusing on that.
Well, maybe somebody might be giving you a call. Who knows? And maybe you can help a lot of folk out right now. And I think that would be, it would be, I think, very, very interesting at least. So what would you say to people who might be a little reluctant about trying your products, Aliya?
We actually deal with a lot of skeptics. I hear from them all the time. I had one call me yesterday and she goes, somebody gave me a little tiny sample of one of your bar cleansers. And she goes, I just thought it was a joke when they said it would help. And she goes, I went and washed my face with it. And she goes, it was a little tiny piece, but I did my whole body with it. And she goes, I actually felt better. Why do I feel better?
Wow.
And so she has become a regular customer and purchased by the bundles now. But the thing is, every time you wash with anything, your pores open up and your body accepts whatever those ingredients are. So most of the things people are washing with are full of synthetic ingredients that your body doesn't want. And when you use the Aliya Willow cleansers, your body is being able to download a whole series of plants that do good things for the body. So oftentimes you do feel better.
Right. I just want to take a quick moment to say hello to our good friend, Hafiz Kim. He's over there in Greenville, South Carolina. I hope you're doing well. Also, Mr. Tim Oxendine is saying a great show. So thank you very much, Tim. I certainly do appreciate that. So what we're going to do now, Aliya, by the way, great information too. You're so articulate and explaining exactly what you have going. Now think about Jerry Trimble. He's a world champion kickboxer. And he's always talking about the nature and always talk. And he does a lot of movies and stuff. He might be watching here today. I don't know if he is, but I know he must enjoy something like this because he's talking about don't eat meat and don't do this and the nature and the earth and all that. So this will be a show, I think, right up his alley. Okay, so you mentioned a little bit earlier about some other products, and I mentioned early on the onset of the show about products that help you sleep a little bit better because I'm a busybody. My mind sometimes just will not shut down. So I want you to let us know a little bit about an item or items that you might have to help us sleep a little better.
Yeah. So one of the, I think you've used this one, Johnny.
Yeah.
This one's called Island Rain. And I actually developed this formula accidentally about 20 years ago.
Accidentally.
Yeah, so I was putting together a formula, working on making my skin feel really soft. And at the time, I was a professional photographer, and I was supposed to be all day on a shoot. And in my early 20s, I was loaded with lots of energy. So it wasn't normal for me to fall asleep at 2 o'clock in the afternoon in the middle of a shoot.
Right, right, right.
So I had accidentally put myself to sleep, and I did it 2 weeks in a row because I didn't know what I did.
Oh,
And after after the second time, I realized that I better never do that again because I couldn't afford to just fall asleep on the job like that.
right. Wow. Wow. You know, there've been
Um,
a lot of great products that have been made accidentally. I can
yeah.
agree with that. Okay, so a lot of people are going through a lot, you know, losing jobs, you know, the medical issues that are going on. Obviously finances are just crazy right now. A lot of people are under stress.
Yeah.
So,
And the stress.
well, what items do you have that could help some folk out with stress relief?
Yeah, I'm really quite familiar with stress because when I broke my back, my whole life got flipped upside down. And I know a lot of people are experiencing the threat of something like that happening to them now, where you're losing everything you have. So I know how that feels to be under that kind of stress level. And we do have fantastic things for helping reduce stress. What's really cool is this formula called Sweet Magic.
Like that name?
What's that?
I like that name.
Yeah. So it has the plants in it that help your body create more of the happy hormones, the hormones that make you happy. So what happens with that is you can wash with it, you can moisturize with it, you can spritz with it, like I did earlier with the Warrior. Any way you want to get those plants into the body, the more of those plants that get into the body, the more of the happy hormones you're going to make. What that does is it changes the way the chemicals in your brain function. So you literally think more positively. You think, you just think differently. So instead of seeing problems and blockages, you think differently, you think through them, and you're able to keep moving because stress can make you lock up. And when you're locked up, you can't think clearly, you can't get through things very well. So being able to stay clear-headed and look at things from a different perspective is what happy hormones can help you with.
Wow, nice, nice. What was the name of that product again?
It's called Sweet Magic.
Sweet Magic.
I actually have some of it here. So like this is the bar cleanser. And what's really cool about these is when you wash with them, I wash my hair, my face, my entire body, and shave with them. So they're very efficient. They last about a month in the shower. And
Aliya, you might not remember, but I've actually tried some of the soap too.
Oh, you have? Okay.
Oh, yeah. See how nice. right. But I've actually tried some of the soap, and I've used it quite a bit.
Donnie, we have something that can help that right there.
Oh yeah. Right. Well, that's gonna be interesting. But it really actually, smooths my skin out. Really nice. Okay, all right. So because we only have so much time here today, but I do want to talk about a lot of people have a lot more time. Yes, they're a little bit stressed, but maybe their energy is a little bit low because of all the things that are going on right now. What do you have to help out with a little bit more energy?
So we have several different things. I've got a formula called Firefly that when you wash and moisturize with it, it boosts the energy in the body. Oh. I like to wash with that one in the morning. It keeps me motivated, keeps me energized. You can use the spritzer. So halfway through the day, if you're getting tired, you use the spritzer and it gives you a little boost of energy, but it's not addictive like caffeine. So you don't have to do it all the time. And it doesn't mess up your sleep cycle. So like caffeine takes 12 hours to get out of the body. And the Firefly will last about 4 hours or so. So you can use it 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock at night and still be fine. That's one of the formulas. We also have our energy inhaler. And that one you just hold under the nose and you breathe it in and it's going to give you a boost of energy.
I'm going to have to somebody call you, because, you might have some stuff that can help change our entire society. Maybe go back and get in tune with nature. Listen, in these times, because we're shut down at home, getting in tune with nature is not a bad thing, right? That's
it's definitely.
It's so relevant right now because it is basically in tune with nature, correct?
Yeah, the more that you're in nature, the better your body is going to feel. We I have often really kind of promoted the idea of walking barefoot on the earth. Your body responds really well.
Ah,
There's an energetic and magnetic exchange of energy that happens with the body when you walk barefoot on the earth.
you're right.
After all, the earth is our natural habitat. We're not really supposed to be separate from it all day.
I don't think when cavemen or whatever came out, when the whatever you believe, Adam and Eve, cavemen, whatever, I don't think they had shoes on.
Well, shoes do serve a purpose. It's hard to walk around too much without them.
Okay, speaking of cavemen, okay, so a lot of men might want to know this. They might want to know, maybe women too, but you know, and this is a rated PG show, right? But what about increasing the libido? Do you have something for that? Now that's a plant we all want to eat.
So 2 of our formulas are considered aphrodisiacs. If you're looking for a better feel, that's the Warrior and the Sweet Magic. We also have this great tea. It's an ancient Native American tea. It's called Damiana. That we get a lot of feedback from our customers about how
So now, give
to spend time with each other.
Example of what kind of feedback they would give you. Hey, I had a great night last night.
Well, PG rated, Johnny.
Right. No, that's really interesting. What about I mentioned about lotions and creams and things like that for like people who might be suffering from diabetes or they might necrosis, you know, where the skin kind of just dies. What type of moisturizers would you have?
So we don't really work with people according to their disease. What we do is we work with them according to the symptoms of their body.
Oh.
So we're not like doctors with diagnosis and things like that. But when you come to us and you say, my skin is really, really dry because of diabetes, then we have stuff for really dry skin. And you can look through the reviews on our website and you'll just see loads and loads of people who have very dry skin issues talking about how our formulas help. Our wildwood formula is known for being extremely helpful for people with dry, itchy skin problems, as well as just dry patches. We've got like 30 moisturizers, so we can match you to the right one.
Right. Well, you know, one of the things that, you know, I think in another conversation somewhere over the years, you mentioned, well, you did mention earlier that you were kind of a part of a tribe. You also mentioned that you were a shaman.
I am.
In the tribe. And if people don't know what that is, it's like a spiritual leader, if you will. When we talk about spirituality in this time, right? What is your take on kind of from a spiritual perspective of what's going on right now with the coronavirus, but more so with people and their connectivity, perhaps with getting back to nature and getting back to things that are really important to them? What would be your personal take on what's going on right now?
Well, if there was one belief from the Native American community I wish people would adopt into their lives, is that we are here to be caretakers of the planet. And I think that's the underlining core difference between so many people, is there's this concept that we were put here to dominate the planet. And I believe somewhere there may be a misinterpretation in that original thinking. And if more people would become caretakers of our planet, I think that you would see more peace. There would be peace within your heart. And it's within each individual's heart that the change for peace happens. Because if we don't all choose peace, then someone's going to continuously be at war.
So you think we're here more to share the land as opposed to being
it's about kindness. It's about compassion. It's about doing what's best for you, for everybody, not just yourself, and not dominion over people and over things and over the earth, but caretakers of people, caretakers of the earth, caretakers of each other, helping each other get stronger. You know, the thing is, we live on this incredible, beautiful, breathing planet. And you can look at, you know, even if you haven't had the opportunity to travel the planet, you can look at photos and videos from around this world, and it's gorgeous. And the only thing that keeps us from living in a peaceful, harmonious way is our choices.
Right.
And half of us may be peaceful and loving and kind and compassionate, but the other half chooses differently. And how do you change the hearts of someone who's so hurt and broken and angry and only concerned for themselves?
How do you change it?
I think prayer might be the only thing we have, Johnny. And I think it might be more powerful than people realize. The Native American daily life really involves prayer, connection to the planet, prayer to the Creator, but not just prayer as in asking for things, prayer as in praising and being thankful and showing gratitude for the things that we have and the beauty that we have and sharing that with others.
Right. So that's a pretty good thought. I really think that that is something actually kind of profound, that more people, whether you call it prayer, whether you call it meditate, or whether you call it being in tune with your surroundings, I think we're in need of all of that, right? And I think that kind of signifies your faith as well, and how you believe and what you believe as well. Now, but I will want to dig a little bit deeper into that as we start to wind down here.
Okay.
As a shaman, are you more into in a religious scripted type of belief, or is it more oneness with the universe?
So for me, I was born with certain gifts. So I naturally communicate with nature from the time I was little. I could hear the wind and the water speak, and the animals speaking. And it was through me seeing my ancestors, because my family actually hid our Native American past from the family. But my ancestors...
Why is that?
Well, my grandfather was assimilated. He was removed from his Native American family and put into one of these boarding type schools, and adopted by a white family and assimilated into the culture. And his spirit was broken from it. He became an alcoholic and abusive, and his family tried to hide that because it was ugly.
So Aliya, so a part of that being, your history. What does that have to do now with you being so entrenched in this native type, earthly type? Is it kind of like a bringing it back and saying, hey, grandfather or father, I remember you. This is what you were really wanting to do and believe, and so now I want to put it on the forefront of things. Is there some connection to that?
So one of the things that makes me a shaman, a natural born shaman, and one of the reasons I'm recognized that in the Native American community is because of my link to the spirit world. So my ancestors, not my grandfather, but my other ancestors came to visit me when I was a child, and they told me I was Native American. That's how I knew. And my parents, my mother specifically, would spank me when I would say that.
Wow.
It was not allowed to claim it. I wasn't allowed to wear my hair in braids. I wasn't allowed to talk about the animals talking or the wind or the water. It was taboo.
Aliya, so are you acting out now?
My whole life. My whole life. But Johnny, I think there's too much at stake to be quiet. And I hear it, and it's real for me. And so it's not something I learned out of a book. It's not something I was taught. I feel nature. I feel it differently. And it's why chiefs come to me for guidance. It's why tribal members come to me for guidance. It's why Aliya products are so amazing, is because there's life in our universe and there's life on our planet.
Wow, that is pretty darn profound. This has been great talking to you today. I think it's some valuable information. I can't wait until people share this video, around the world and get some more ideas. But let people know, how can they contact you?
So we're online. It's alliywillow.com. We ship our products around the world. It's really easy to get in touch with me. You just send an email to Aliya and they'll forward it straight to me if it's addressed to me. We're trying to incorporate more online options. We've had stores here in Raleigh in the Durham area, but they're all kind of closed down right now because of the situation we're going through. So we're trying to increase our presence online. We're taking our classes online. So we do facial parties and things like that online. And then I teach classes to teach people how to find more peace within and how to restore the energy of their body to health. So they're not necessarily reliant upon products or things for that.
Right. And right now, your online actual business is going pretty good, is it?
It is. We're staying really busy. We have a lot of really great customers who rely on our products. They found, relief from eczema and shingles and MRSA and headaches and eczema, and we have special stuff for pregnant women. And so there's all these people that know our products and they come to us for them. And now that they can't find us in the stores, they're calling and emailing, and my team is busy back there trying to get the shipments out for today. So it's definitely increased. And we've got a lot of team members working from home too, trying to help with the chatting and the emails and things like that.
Well, let everyone know also where you're located in Raleigh, North Carolina right now, just in case they're in the area and want to kind of swing by and pick something up today.
Definitely. So we're on Hillsborough Street, which is one of the main roads in Raleigh. We're right down from the North Carolina State Fairgrounds. It's 5301 Hillsborough Street here in Raleigh.
Awesome. Well, I hope a line just comes right there right now. That'll be awesome, right?
There you go. Yeah, we've got our pickup window. We've actually had a line on our front porch. We're doing front porch service, so we can take the products out to people to smell them and try them, and we disinfect everything. And then we've got the pickup window so people can pick up orders that are in the area.
That is awesome. Aliya, this is actually, I love these types of interviews. That's why I said I'm going to expand the show a little bit more and getting into more, kind of a diverse type interviews, not just Muay Thai and kickboxing, but I can talk about anything. I don't care what it is. If you want to talk about it, well, you can talk about it on Johnny Davis Live. Thank Aliya Trinity for being on the show today from Aliya out of Raleigh, North Carolina. Aliya, you've been a treat. We look forward to talking to you again soon.
Awesome. Thanks, Johnny. I really appreciate it. It's been great.
Awesome. Thank you. Talk to you soon.
All right. Bye.
All right, bye-bye. All right, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it there. We were speaking with Miss Aliya. I keep saying Aliya. I want to say the name of her business there. Aliya is the name of her company out of Raleigh, North Carolina. What a treat. I would really recommend that you guys give her products a try, and all of the information right there on her website. Look, guys, that's our first edition of Johnny Davis Live today. We're going to have 3 editions. We'll be coming back up at the 1 o'clock with Mr. Michael Hazard, whose grandparents, unfortunately, were diagnosed with the COVID-19. And we want to talk with him a little bit and his family. So that's coming up next. I hope you guys will take a minute to listen to the things he has to say. He's a great guy, has a great group of people around him, has a great family. So I hope you will join us at 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time here and speaking with him. That's it for today for our show number 1. You've been watching another edition of Johnny Davis Live. We want to thank our sponsors once again, Blackout Fight Gear and Eastern Offset Printing. You can check out our website for all of that information at akpromotions.org. Listen, I want you to always respect each other. Stay home, be safe, and always forward march. This is Johnny Davis Live, and I'm checking out. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.